All right, folks, here we are again. Welcome back to the Scarlet and Great podcast. Thank you for joining us streaming, however you stream a podcast. Please subscribe to our show. Give us a rating and review on iTunes. We love that all those are pouring in. Keep giving us the ratings and reviews. Good reviews. We are going to start reading on the show from time to time. We don't have time for that, though, today. And always find us on YouTube, Scarlet and Great Empire. Watch the show. And leave us comments on there. Guys on YouTube right now, comment down below. Give me score predictions for the Indiana review. We'll look through them and see if people get very close at all. So thank you very much. And here we are. I'm here with the People's Champion, Florida Corey Thompson. Florida Corey, you ready to go?
I'm ready, my friend.
All right. A huge top 10 matchup. We have a quick show we have to get through today, but huge top 10 matchup with Indiana, things not in basketball, Indiana and Ohio State in football, and it's meaningful. And like I said last show, Indiana's ranked 9th, and I think that's a legit ranking. Not most years, right? But
this
year they're legitimately. I'm fine with them being the 9th best team in the country right now. And this is one of those games where you wonder. Okay, Ohio State's has some flaws, looking incomplete at times. You know, I think a lot of fans out there are probably going, how is this? I've had people tell me before, I'm nervous about this game. Corey, last time we talked, though, privately, I'm sharing some of your private memoirs here, and I know this was before you looked even more closely at the game, or at the games and the stats and everything. You kind of had a Lee Corso, not so fast, and you didn't really seem to think there was much there, and you thought it was going to be a pretty one-sided game. After you've taken some time and looked, how do you feel?
I think we'll win nicely, but we won't cover the 21-point spread. I thought that was a little bit much. Because this is a very motivated Indiana team. This is one of the better Indiana teams that's been around in 30 years. Tom Allen's did a great job there. But in the end of the day, when we beat them 51-10 last year, I understand Penix wasn't the QB; it was Patrick Ramsey. I understand there's differences from year to year. I get all that. We were a more well-oiled machine last year than we are this year so far, for sure. I just think talent wins out. Now, granted, the great benefit to Indiana is now they're not allowing anybody in Ohio Stadium, not even family members, because of the rise in COVID numbers in the state of Ohio. But to be honest with you, at the end of the day, I wonder if getting that week off just kind of put the edge back on Ohio State, put the chip back on their shoulder a little bit. Like, this is not granted. This is not guaranteed. Don't take this for granted. You have one game. The next game could be your last, and cherish it and go out there and punish people, because it could be your last game of the year. I don't think it's going to be a 21-point win, but I could easily see a 14 to 17-point win.
Okay. That is crazy that the spread is 21, given how closely ranked these two teams are, and given that, we understand that Ohio State has not been polarizing for 4 quarters of a game yet. So
they really only had 1 quarter versus Rutgers.
Yeah. And I mean, the first quarter against Penn State looked nice, and then other parts of quarters, but we're waiting on that 4-quarter game. So Indiana is 4-0, and they're number 9 in the country, but they do have they're not polarizing by any stretch of the imagination. They're good and efficient. This is a well-coached team, albeit with Indiana talent, right? Now, it looked like they might have a few receivers that are kind of out kicking their coverage with their talent a little bit right now. They're doing pretty well
for Indiana. Don't they always have guys like Simi Cobbs and whatnot? It just doesn't make any sense that these guys are there.
Right. And then, Penix is playing again, he's got some issues. I think when you force him to move and, force him to be under pressure, and he kind of looks ugly when he throws the ball, but it works for what they're doing. It works good enough. He's a good enough quarterback. He is what I thought Sean Clifford, you know how we kind of thought Sean Clifford's a good enough quarterback, and now he's just playing terrible. You know,
Penix is definitely better than Clifford right now.
yeah,
Sure.
Penix is kind of good at, like, I thought Clifford was good enough. You know, I thought Clifford was good, not great. I thought that's what I think of Penix, but Penix can frustrate you with throws now and then. But looking at what the big chink in the armor for Indiana, Corey, we'll just come out and say it. We think we can't run the ball. They flat out can't run the ball. It's kind of more impressive that Penix and the receivers are doing what they're doing, given that they're a one-trick pony. They don't even average 3 yards a carry.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking up the efficiency stats for both teams and found out once again, we're a better running team than our opponent. For as bad as our run game has been, let's be honest, the only thing that's bad about it is it's just not up to Ohio State's standard. That's what's bad about it. It's not that it's the worst running game in the league or anything like that. It's just not what we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing complete dominance in the run game, and we're not seeing that. But we're seeing a more efficient run game than our opponents so far this year. Indiana now is no exception to that. They cannot run the ball. 2.7 to 3 yards per carry is about, depending on who you ask, is their rough estimate. Their offense is not terribly efficient. In fact, if you ask me, it relies a lot on big play. And I do say that is a concern, judging by how our secondary has played so far this year. I could definitely see us giving up some big plays in the pass game this Saturday.
Yeah. Since we're kind of, we're right into it. Let me just say, if Indiana is to just win this game, or I guess their offensive game plan is going to be, and this is exactly what I would do if I were them, throw the ball outside to those big receivers. They have 2 monsters out there. One guy, Ty Freifogel, has like over 300 yards his last 2 games, 424 yards, pretty much 18 yards a catch. And Walt Filer has 287 yards at 12 a catch. And then they got another guy over 100 yards, and Peyton Hendershot, an efficient tight end. So what I would this is exactly what they're going to do, Corey. Mark my words. And I'm not going to get any argument from you. You throw the ball one-on-one at Seven Banks. You absolutely throw the ball at Tyreek Johnson when he's in the game one-on-one on the outside, and you go up over him because he can place the ball. He places a decent 50-50 ball. It's not like fantastic where the defender just couldn't get to it. I don't think but the receivers are good at winning that battle. And Corey, Sean Wade's not shown me, and now I'm a Wade fan. I'm a Wade family fan. I'm a Sean Wade fan. I think he can get better. He's not shown me anything to where I even tell Penix, don't throw at him. I'd say throw at him too. You attack those corners, and especially when they're on one-on-one. I think that is Indiana's key to victory. Basically, I think this is Penn State all over again. They pretty much tied Penn State, right? One off a really controversial call in like double overtime. Penn State couldn't run the ball. They could frustrate some 50-50 jump balls.
I don't know if I agree with that. Penn State beat themselves, I thought, against Indiana. They made key mistakes.
No. I'm saying against us. Penn State couldn't run the ball.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah, I thought you meant Indiana, Penn State.
No, it's an Ohio State podcast. We're talking about Buckeyes.
Yeah, okay. Well.
Indiana couldn't run the ball, or Penn State couldn't run the ball on us. I don't think they could. They will be able to. Penn State frustrated us a few times, big plays in the past game, not all game, but enough to frustrate you. I think that's exactly the key to what Indiana is going to try to do.
I wonder how much of a precision passer, because Clifford in the second half against us showed precision in his slant patterns and whatnot. I mean, granted, there was a couple jump balls. Wade gave up especially. Penix has completed about 60% of his passes. I don't see him as a precision guy.
With that 50-50 ball to the receiver down the side.
Yeah, but can you count on that all game is the interesting point.
He's pretty great with it against Michigan.
I look at it. I think
he'll throw 10 of them and complete 5. That's 80 yards or more.
They come in key plays in the game for sure. But my issue is this. I mean, Penn State outgained them dramatically when they played Indiana. And Penn State, for the most part, I felt like we kind of dominated Penn State. But Penn State yardage-wise dominated Indiana. And just give up stupid turnovers, or Devin Ford not getting down instead of running into the end zone, things like just making stupid mistakes. Now, granted, Ohio State is not immune to stupid mistakes. Let's be perfectly honest, especially on defense. I do think we have the ability to control a football game with our pass game better than most teams. It'll be interesting to see. We'll talk about that matchup here in a second, but their inability to run the ball, reliance on the big play ball is going to be their key, obviously, because our corners are not. This isn't Akuta and Arnett out there right now. Just isn't. And Fuller, it just isn't. I'm a little concerned about Marcus Hooker for sure, even more so than our corners. But I don't know. It just can they slant us all game? Can they do that?
No,
can they keep drives alive with precision plays, or can they just throw it up and hope for the best? And it's just, like you said, 50-50. I mean, it's like our guys just got to learn how to win that battle. It's actually just going to be one of those games where it's a good game to learn that battle, to how to win that battle. But I don't know. To me, I think this is the kind of game where, there was another game. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Michigan who outgained them dramatically as well. Maybe it wasn't.
No, there's no way.
It wasn't Michigan. There was another game.
They beat Michigan handily.
Oh, I know they beat Michigan handily, but I know that some other team just outgained them dramatically, and still that couldn't have been, because it could have been Michigan State for sure.
No,
and it wasn't Rutgers. But I'll say this. Okay, we'll go back to the Penn State game. Penn State is more comparable because we are going to put up numbers on them. They're not going to shut us down. So, but Penn State, while putting numbers up on them, made enough mistakes to keep them in the game. Yeah. I don't see that happening with Ohio State. No, we're going to make mistakes, but I don't see us making enough mistakes to make it that interesting for that long. I mean, I could see it going into the second half, of course, but I do think depth and talent ends up winning out. And I just think this Ohio State team is way too powerful for them. I mean, just way too powerful. I mean, I know everybody's wanting to build the hype machine with this game, but I haven't seen them do anything that can't be stopped. So on offense at least. I understand that the 50-50 ball is a good play for them, but first of all, I don't think they faced maybe a defense. You say, well, our defense hasn't looked great at times. I think our defense looked fine against, like, let's say Rutgers, because people like to talk about that game. Until the fourth quarter, when we just unloaded the depth chart and just, here you go, everybody here, you in the stands, you come in and play.
Well, we were giving up plays. We let them march straight down the field in the first half too.
On one drive, I mean, and they got a field goal out of it.
Was it only 3 points at halftime?
Yeah,
but they went right down the field like butter, and they scored more than just they were scoring in the third quarter too.
They scored they scored, I think, what was it in the third quarter? 9 points in the third quarter, and basically was the one drive they had was off a bunch of trick plays. So if Indiana does a bunch of trick plays, maybe who knows? I don't think they're going to be doing that. I mean, I think you might see one or here or there, but Rutgers has to do that,
right?
I'm not saying they won't score points. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I don't think they'll score enough to where it's like, okay, the game's in the balance right now. I just don't see that happening.
No, I think they'll have a few tense moments maybe towards the third quarter, like you're up 14. If this drive doesn't go well, they get the ball back and could score, and you'd only be up 7. Yeah. That 14-point spread that feels more like a 3-point spread because you get tense. Yeah, maybe a moment like that.
Maybe I think you're not that confident in the defense at the moment.
Yeah, and look, and if we keep playing bail coverage, like, these guys are good enough to move the ball. If Kerry Combs continues to say, "Look, I just rather you not guard anybody." I'd rather
I can't explain what Kerry's doing on that.
I know when Zach was on the show and he's like, look, you can't make your guys so worn out that they, I understand that, but it's like to never press. Yeah. And I'm not saying they never, but it's just like Sean, you're bailing at 10 yards every time, but maybe that's probably part of the game plan. Bend, but don't break. I don't understand. I don't know.
Well, that's what you got to say to Sean. Are you an alpha or are you not? Get on your guy.
Yeah. And he probably would, be up to the challenge. If let me play a little bit. Let me actually let the dogs eat. Don't just tell me to bail.
Sean, don't go for the pick. Just knock the ball out of it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. His father will tell him that.
Yeah, exactly. Made that pretty clear. Yeah.
He did. I see this a lot like the Penn State game, though. I really do, where Ohio State's athletes at times make you go, whoa, they are better. And then I think, our offensive line, hopefully, there's times, man, they look they make you go, like at Penn State, and there's time at Rutgers, you're like, what are you doing? Did you get a scholarship here? Like,
there's a potential rumor with the offensive line going on too. I don't know how true it'll be.
What's that? Go quick. Go ahead.
Quick rumor is we might see Paris Johnson being tried out of left guard.
Okay, I'm cool.
I'm not saying it's happening for sure. It's something I heard.
That's weird that it'd be him and not DeJuan Jones, but oh well. Hey, whatever. We'll figure it out. They had 2 weeks to play with some stuff, and maybe Harry. I hope Harry Miller gets better, because that him and Josh Myers together are not they ain't it right now. Hopefully they get to where,
we're not rooting. If I had to root for anything, it'd be Harry Miller and Josh Myers to get better.
Right? Yeah. It's pretty poor at times, but anyways, I see. Look, this is another thing I'd like to see. Indiana can't run the ball. I hope we don't keep dedicating the linebackers to the run game when they can't run the ball anyway. Let some of them drop sometimes and clog up the middle. We have a weak secondary at times, so help them out with some extra coverage. I don't know that we'll do that, though. Kerry Combs hasn't showed me that he will do that. Maybe with the bye week, he'll try that out. So I think you see Penix, like Clifford, be inaccurate at times, and we go, ooh, we dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
But at times, frustrate you with some nice throws and big plays with a struggling secondary, and score in chunks. But the talent will win out from Ohio State. And on the defensive side of the ball, I don't think we're going to see a great run game. I think Indiana's got a decent defense. I think they only average allowing something like 100, 110 rush yards a game. And look, I'll just say this. Look out for the linebacker, number 47. I think he'd start for the Buckeyes middle linebacker right now. He's a nice player.
Yeah, their defense.
Micah McFadden.
Yeah, Micah McFadden is a good player. Yeah.
Look, I'll let you talk about the defense briefly, Corey. This is how I would attack Indiana's defense, though. Ryan Day, quit trying to work on the run game. Not this game, not against a team that's actually got the capability to beat you if you really screw up. We are going 2018 Big Ten championship game and say we can't run the ball. Pass. I need 40 attempts. Look, you run when you have numbers, and you run to just sprinkle it in and keep them honest. You guys can't do it. I tell offensive line, look, you haven't shown me anything. I'm not letting you run block. You haven't shown me anything. And we're not doing these long developing plays. We get north and south. We run a little bit, but we are passing, wearing them out because we're great at it. And then maybe when they're tired, we'll run it down their throat and let Teague hit them when they're tired and let Sermon dance around them. I don't think they'll do that. But that is how I would attack this defense, because if we try to work on this run game, I don't think this is the defense to just
we're
work
not
on
doing
something.
that. There's no way. Ryan Day is not taking this team lightly at all. We're going in with our full arsenal, doing what we do best. And Indiana is good, but not great against the pass. They average they're allowing about 7 yards per pass, or against their opponents. I mean, our strength is not necessarily their weakness, but they're not great on it. What a big key here is Ryan Day continues to be a wizard on third down. Indiana's pretty good at keeping people off third down. Like, they're 30% on defense, but we're 60% on offense at converting third downs. So that'll be an interesting battle right there.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I don't see any way we go in and we're trying to get that run game going. They're not going to take a 7-point lead and go, okay, we're good. I think you're going to see Fields light it up a lot more. I think you see a heavy dose of Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. And I think you see the run game in opportune times. I think we use it as a complement more so than what has been our staple in the past. Last year was our staple. This year, it just has to be a complement. It is what it is.
Yeah, I actually think that they will run it more than they should. I think they'll be stubborn and try to work on it. And I think it's just this is a situation you run it here. Good coaching says that you run it. Me as a dummy from the outside says, look, they're not going to stop you throwing the ball. Just throw the ball. I think they'll bring a lot of pressure too. Like you've seen what Ohio State struggles with. So bring pressure. I think you'll see Indiana.
Oh, Indiana blitzes from every other, and their leading sacker is a DB. I mean, they blitz from every other angle.
Yeah, the blitz. You'll see Micah McFadden come through too. I think he'll be frustrating the run play, and they've created turnovers from their pressure. I think they got
But
like
this is why you're going to see a lot of Master Teague. Zach Smith brought it up. Master Teague's one of the best in the country at pass pro.
yeah, like third in the country in pass pro as running backs, really good. So that will be huge. That will be huge. This is interesting, Corey. Because I just think we should air raid. I just think we're not going to. I think we should and get better at running at a different game. Like not this time. This team, though, as far as how I think the game will play out, this team has just not flat out told me that they're capable of playing 4 quarters yet. I don't think this week's going to be any different. I think this is going to play out a ton like the Penn State game, but instead of Penn State missing field, and I'll mind you, I've been really good at score predictions this year, not at getting them right, but always being close. And that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to be close all year, never get one right. I'm going to actually go 38-27 instead of 38-25 because Penn State kept going for 2. And here's the thing. This is why our defense, Corey. I learned this from College Football Nerds. I'm going to give them the shout out here. Corey, how much of opponents' averages do you think we allow in the run game? That's a better of our 2 defenses.
You got me. Go ahead.
99%. The better of our 2. We basically give you however you run, you run. Granted, these guys can't run the ball, so that's pretty good. What do you think we allow in pass defense?
Probably worse.
111% of opponent averages you can get against the Buckeyes. And Indiana passes for 268 a game. So I think we win this game 38-27, and we look dominating at times. We look frustrating at times, and we kind of get it done.
I don't think there's going to be at any point like in the Rutgers game where we empty the bench. There's not going to be any point with that. I don't think we're going to see Stroud or Miller. If we didn't see Stroud or Miller against Rutgers, we're not seeing him against Indiana. If I had to go score prediction, but I do think with the starters in constantly, there will be some frustrating moments like Johnny said. But I think for the most part, you're going to look dominant. Even if it's only a quarter and a half, it'll be so dominant in that quarter and a half, the whole game feels dominant, except for a few frustrating moments. Oh, I'm going to go a little bit more. I'm not going to go field goal though because I don't know if we're going to even kick them. I will say I think it's going to be 42-24.
42-24, a little more comfortable of a margin from the People's Champion. Florida, Corey. Pretty good rundown. I think people know what to expect, and we got out of here quickly. That's rare for me and you. Got anything to say?
We knew we had to, yeah.
Yeah. Anything to say before we go?
If you saw me waving on the film, my friend just showed up, so it's just
okay. Well, hope you send him home. No, we got to get out of here.
I'm gonna beat him with a rubber hose for interrupting me.
We got to get out of here. Thank you guys. Comment down below again with your score predictions if you're listening on YouTube. As always, goodbye. God bless, and go Bucks.